everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to show you two Hobby Lobby dupes that we're going to recreate with these pumpkins. Plus we're going to do one other one that hopefully works out and I will share it with you. So let's get into it. This is a real-time tutorial, so I don't know if it's going to be any high-speed portions or any voiceovering because I'm having trouble editing these days. So please bear with me if you will. Thank you so much. Bye. The first thing we're going to do with the first one is we're going to cut off its little hanger and rip off its bow. I hate raffia. Hashtag I hate raffia. Okay. I'm just going to pick off this glue real quick. And then one thing that I hate doing with real wood items is painting it. However, this particular paint job is going to leave some wood grain, so that's what's important to me. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to start in the very center. We're just going to dump some of this Waverly chalk paint in pumpkin. I feel like I've done this kinds of tutorials before, but you guys love to see them over and over again. Where did I just put those wipes? Am I losing my mind again? Can't lose what you don't have. Oh, I guess I forgot what I was looking for. Okay, so we're just going to take a wipe. This is just a like baby wipe, but it's a flushable kind. And we're going to brush on the paint with the wipe. Why are we doing that? I'll share it with you. Hold on. This is going to instantaneously create a whitewashed look, effect, or feel. It's going to bring the wood grain out as well. I don't know why I'm doing this without some protection on the table, so forgive me. Oh, goodness. So this particular pumpkin that we're recreating is just a monogram pumpkin. I am going to hand copy, if you will, the actual H that is on the sample. You can use a stencil, you can use a sticker, you really can do anything that you want. You also don't have to make it a monogram pumpkin. Maybe I can just inspire you to make a pumpkin. Maybe you can say, happy fall, y'all. Maybe you could say, hello, pumpkin. So as you can see, because it's three-dimensional, I'm getting in at every angle that I can to really get in there and really get some orange on all of the surfaces. I need a little bit more here, which is okay. I didn't put very much on that ridge. And we're going to not do the stem because the stem is going to be brown, even though I just painted it on accident. A bow is going to go there, so I'm not concerned about how pretty that line is. But if you don't want a bow, then you definitely want to tape off an angled, like angle in there, like you would if it was a real pumpkin. So now I'm just looking at it from every angle and make sure I got all of the sides, which it doesn't seem like I did. Here we go. I thought I had a holiday here somewhere. If you're new to my channel, a holiday is what my dad used to say when we were painting. I'm sure it's probably a real painting thing because my dad was in construction for a lot of years, but it's just what we used around the house. So I'm going to put this up real close to the camera so that you guys can see why we used a wipe and very, very little paint. Can you take all of that wood grain in? I love it. I don't care. Like I will paint these. However, when I have to, it breaks my heart because they're wood. We tried so hard for so many years at the Dollar Tree to get actual wood things. Now this is a different shape than the inspiration piece, as you can tell. But we're going to go ahead and just add the monogram right to it. We're not going to wait at all. Okay, we don't have to. It's dry enough. If you have a Cricut, I have a Cricut, but I like to be able to do these projects with you that you can do at home if you don't have a Cricut. I like to do these projects that you can do if you don't have a Cricut. But of course, you have a Cricut. Go ahead and make your whatever you want it to say on your Cricut. So I like to use this brush like a calligraphy marker. So I am doing this a little different, but I'm using it as inspiration, and that's okay. Now you can go ahead and fill in. Where all the brush strokes were. You can also take a smaller brush to fill in as well, to give that extra sharp edge right along and wherever you need a thin line. So like this line is quite thin. And then this one is as well. We're just going to fix it up to make it look beautiful. Clean up the edges. So I went over a little bit here with a big glob of paint, and that's okay. I like to use the backs of paintbrushes as like erasers because they'll scratch the paint away. That's one of the benefits of working on your paint while it's wet underneath, is you have a little bit more forgiveness. The only thing I want to do is make this a little thinner and a little pointier, because the inspiration piece looks like it's a little thinner and a little pointier because it got a little thin there at the top. Okay, and this top as well. So that's that. Oh, I am. So we're just going to put this off to dry. Now we're going to take another wipe. You can actually use the same one. Did I throw it out? Okay. I'll use the one that I washed myself with. Okay, I'm going to take some of my antiquing wax. This isn't quite so dark. You know what? Let me get some of the truffle. Let's see. What is this one? Oh, mineral. Mineral's too gray. Where's my truffle? Well, I guess we will. You know, let's do mineral. It's closest without going over. I think the white will help a little bit too. Hazelnut would be the best color. I just don't know where all the colors are. Maybe they're away. I thought that was one of the colors that I always kept out. So me surprised it's away is not news. You know what? I forgot to fill the hole. I'm going to take that one's not big enough, a skewer piece. These are the barbecue skewers from the Dollar Tree. I need that piece. Let's turn it over. Don't mess up your H. I should have done this before. Forgive me. Okay. That's good. Okay. Don't mess up your H. Don't mess up your monogram. push it in. There you go. Right a little bit lower. And we're going to take an emery board. An emery board's just easier getting out sandpaper. Oh goodness. When you want to do little tiny pieces like this, my emery board's sunk. Okay. When you wouldn't want to do little tiny pieces like this. Now, if you want to push it all the way in and just sand your little heart out, you can. I'm not doing that. Just wanted to show you how easy it was. Because the knots are going to be back here anyway from the hanger. There we go. Okay. Then we're going to take our wipe with our little bit of mineral, and we're going to go over our stem. Just a little bit. Ooh, I forgot to turn the cap. Just to go over a little bit right here. Still want to see that wood grain come through. You want that little piece of dowel to just about disappear, which it did. Then we're going to create a little bow. There's thousands of ways to create a little bow. I like the traditional, just go ahead and tie your shoes, sister. I do. Sorry. You know, around and looped and through and pull. Now, that's not a pretty bow, but watch. It doesn't take very much. First, let me cut the excess off. Right about there. It doesn't take very much maneuvering, especially with this kind of grosgrain ribbon, to tighten it and then back it out again to make the perfect size and shape of bow. Now, the inspiration piece has disappeared off my screen. Has just flat tails. So we're going to go ahead and make flat tails. I want them even. That's it. And then we're just going to put it right where the glue was. So we don't have to worry about any of that stuff showing up or messing up or any of that stuff. Okay. And then we're going to get some jute. This has a pretty thick jute hanger. So we could use some of the new jute, but we're just going to go ahead and use what we have. Open and ready to go. Okay. The jute hanger can be as long or as short as you want. I am going to go with the inspiration piece. I'm going to make a double knot, which is basically, you'd put, let's see, we're going to put that there. We want it to hang here and then back down. So what you basically do is, got a lot of extra. Why? Okay. So what you want to do to make a double knot is you want to create your regular loop like you're gonna make a regular knot, and you're gonna put the end in twice. Once and then back around and once again. And you can do this as many times as you want to. 2 is just usually how it is. And then what that does is it makes a fat knot. You can go ahead and add additional knots if you really want a knot, like a big one, but do you see how big and nice and size that is? Okay, so then with this jute, I gotta work it out. I can't stand the twisties. That is still a little wet, but I think it'll be balanced on the bow and it won't touch. So I'm gonna glue one knot here and then roll it in the glue and slide it up and back. Repeat it on the other side. Just gonna take it, roll it in it, slide it up. Let's see, about there is about even. Nope, that's way higher. There we go. Is it coming off even? Or just about? Okay. Let's get this one to come off even as well. Actually, let's move this one since it's still wet. Waiting for glue to dry. So this next one is going to be so easy. And I mean that. So what we're going to do is we're going to create one of these. You can either make it look like it says full, or you could just make it look really rustic and gorgeous. I'm going to make one that I feel like is just really rustic and gorgeous. It was originally $30. It is a stand-up pumpkin, and I'm sure it is much bigger than this. But, you know, we have our ways around that, right? So we're going to take off the raffia bow, because I hate raffia. Then we're going to take our wipes again. We're going to take a wipe, and we're going to use the Waverly chalk paint in white this time, and we're going to do the entire pumpkin. Now, I'm going to remember now to do the stem first. Thank you. Oops. I'm going to do the same technique we've done many times before. Forgive the glue. We're going to whitewash this pumpkin. We want a little bit of the wood to come out. This time, we're going to do the whole pumpkin and its edges. And the edges aren't as important because we're actually going to like age the edges. But okay, not going to throw this away. I'm going to use it in a second. So what we're going to do is we're going to dip in some mineral. This is Waverly chalk paint in mineral. The edges of this piece have sort of a gray wash to it. And we're going to go in layers. So we're going to do, first we're going to do some mineral, which has sort of like a gray beige undertone. I'm going to make it almost like the whole thing is that gray wash as opposed to just being like full on white. But you definitely want to put the white down first because you won't get the same effect if you just go straight to the gray. Okay, see what's happening? Do you see what's happening? Okay, let's do the same thing for the next side. And then we're going to turn around and repeat on the other side. And then the last one, sort of, that same sort of like, okay. And now for this, we are going to go ahead and use a brush. We're going to take the same mineral and a little bit of elephant. First, we're going to do it with the mineral. We're going to take sort of a stiffy kind of a brush. This one's from the Dollar Tree. We're just going to do it around the edges. Again, just stiffy. Just sort of just touching the edges. You can see the inspiration piece has a very specific gray line painted around here. So I like the stiffy brush because it gives you a little bit better control. So that paint can stand out. If this is too dark, you can go ahead and you can add white on top. You know, this base piece down here. You can always add your white back to it. Let's see if we can't. Let me show you what that means. If I could do that with this almost dry brush. See? If that's just a little too dark in the grooves or whatever, you can go ahead and you can adjust that. Okay? What we're going to do is we're just going to do some stiffy edges. I'm going to do it around the whole three-dimensional portion. The whole three-dimensional portion. And you can just use your finger to blend. You know, a lot of people have reached out to me and they want to do me to do different painting tutorials. They want me to do to teach them more shading or stuff of that nature, and I would love to do that. It's hard to think of projects though. Like I have tried a few times to just come on and teach technique, but they're not very well received videos. And I know I don't do them like for everybody, like, but I guess it's a hard balance to try to be. Do you see how much different that makes when you just use your finger? And then we've got sort of like a couple of really random, like, dark gray strokes. But like I said, this is mineral, and we're going to go ahead over it with a little bit of elephant, just because some of the lines are really, really gray. Whoops. Get that off before it gets dark and settles. Okay, let's get that out of there. Get that out of there. Okay. So I'm going to use the same brush. I'm not going to wash it or anything. I'm not worried about contaminating my elephant gray with any of the, I'm not worried about contaminating any of the elephant gray with any of the mineral, but we want like a super dry brush. So I'm going to dip it off into the on the wipe. So what it'll do, it'll actually dilute the paint a little bit too, which is a really nice touch. And then we're just going to give like, oh, I forgot to dip it off. Dip it off. Ah, look what you did. We're just going to add a tiny bit to the very, very edge just to give it some dimension. Just a little bit more dimension. I don't even think I have to go back in the paint right now. I could just get off it. No, maybe I do. Yeah, I do. So I don't know if you can tell, but I'm almost holding the paintbrush perpendicular to the work so that it just gets on that edge and not down into the crack. If that makes any sense. Hopefully it does. I really did love this pumpkin, but I was not about to pay $30 or $22 for it. It was on sale for $22.50 when I grabbed the screenshot when I actually saw it, which was really early in the year. And I had already, oh, Jerry, I had already had this pumpkin that I found when I was shopping in Salem around Lisa's birthday, maybe around my birthday. Let's see. Am I starting to rush and get sloppy? Maybe. The one thing we're going to do with the elephant that we didn't do with the mineral is we're also going to hit the edges. And we're going to hit the edges with like straight on, like thick, yeah. It's barely brushed off. And the reason, there's a couple of reasons we're doing that. We're doing that because we want to definitely push the edges back. The inspiration has a nice thick edge, so we want to just fake that out a little bit, if that makes any sense, by adding some dimension. So let's see, we got a couple of really like hidden kind of paint things in here we can work on. What I've done is I've just hit that and then rubbed it with this just to kind of add a little darkness around the edges. But that's good. The thing that I should have done first, and I'll tell you, you should have done it first too, is to paint your leaves and or flowers, if you're going to put flowers on here. Here's an ivy bush. They're just really big, but there might be a couple of little ones on there. If you have any pumpkin leaves left over from anywhere, you can just use those. Yeah, these are kind of big. Let me put this off to the side to dry. Oh, what do we get? Did we get something on there? Oh boy, dropped the paintbrush on there or something. What do we do? Okay. Let me get a board here, because this is actually going to make a mess. If you have any of the Dollar Tree's fake metal pumpkins or fake pumpkins with metal leaves, that would be really cool because that's literally what that is. That is a metal leaf, but I do not. And even if I did, do I want to rip it off of a pumpkin that I'm using to decorate my house? Probably not. If I had one left over, I might. If you have spray paint, these would totally be better spray painted. You'd be done in like 2 seconds. You'd have both sides coated and Bob's your uncle, but we are not doing that. But Jerry, why are you doing the back? Because this is a table decor and has the front and back, you'll see, of these leaves. And you can tell how careful I'm being, right? Not, in fact, the drier the brush, the faster they'll dry. And the more antique you'll get of a look.
Now I'm just using some Waverly chalk paint in white, and then we're going to go over it with those same 2 colors that we did with the pumpkin. If you can look at the inspiration piece again, you'll see that it's just supposed to look like one giant sculpture almost, that has an antique look and an antique finish.
Okay, so we're not going to...
I never finished that sentence, but I was thinking in my head was we were not going to remove the plastic stems. What we're going to do is use them for texture. If we add some gray to the front, and we're not going to gray and antique the back, and maybe that's what I was trying to say. I don't really remember. But we're just going to add some of this elephant gray, not elephant gray, this is mineral, to the front of the leaf. And then I'm going to take my wipe, and as I wipe it off, you'll see basically this kind of like awesome antique look already. You'll see. I'm thinking I was going to use like add white to it to make it white again. I decided to wipe off some of the gray, but as I'm wiping it off, I'm exposing the green in the veins. The fact that I'm pushing the wipe against the leaf that is up against the plastic piece that is causing it to wipe off, especially where the veins are.
Jerry.
That's funny because I went back over it with another layer of white and ended up covering up that beautiful thing that I just created with the veins. So I yelled at myself. But then I went ahead and I just used that same wipe just to clear off more of it. I just love the way they came out. They gave them dimension. I know they do have dimension, but it gave them dimension that I wasn't expecting.
We're going to take some of these hops. I'm going to take some more hot glue because we're running out. I'm going to glue them into place. I think these are hops. I think that's what they are. And then we're going to take the chisel brush we were using before. I'm going to take some of the mineral. But we're using the elephant brush. The brush has some elephant on it still. Dip it in that whitewash off thing. And we're just going to dab these flowers. We're just going to darken these flowers up. including their stems and their centers. Now the last thing we're going to do, and we're going to leave this out because we're going to need it in a second, is we're going to give this thing legs. We're going to use some of the tumbling tower blocks. I feel like just 2 is enough across the bottom there. As you know, we've been doing this forever. If you've been here forever with us forever, then you know we've been doing this forever with us forever. But you just want to take a good generous amount of hot glue, and you're just going to line it up with the bottom of this, the bottom of the deepest, darkest ridge. Let me show you on this one a little bit better. We're going to use the ridge just right there. Make sure that they're even, and they're not, which is fantastic because we've already done Gorilla Glue. Yada, yada, yada. Peel this one off. Hopefully it's not too late. You basically want to stand them. So it's what I recommend when I first taught this, using these for legs, was I suggested putting the glue on, putting it on, and then standing it up immediately and pushing it down to the ground. Just make sure it's even, get it up so it doesn't stick to the table. Okay. Now we do have some of this elephant left. I mean the mineral left. We're going to go ahead and hit these peaks just so they disappear. You could use the elephant. The elephant would be darker and it would make it disappear even more. But you just want that to not stand out. So, and if you want to paint your whole wood piece in the back, you can. But pretty much that's it.
So that's it for now. I'm not going to post that third pumpkin on here. I'll make another video for it because it was a really long video. Hope you guys enjoyed these tutorials. If you do, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know if you like real-time crafting with me. I really enjoy it, and it does really help me out not having to do all of those edits. I know many of you have messaged me that you just love to like grab a cup of coffee or sit down with your supplies and go ahead and craft yourself. So as always, if you haven't, click subscribe. When you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And of course, share and thumbs up and all the things. And as always, you guys take care. God bless. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Elephant's too gray. Truffle, truffle, where are you? Oh, here. Sorry. No, that's ink. What happened to my truffle? Let me just see. Huh. Another missing paint. Okay. I just realized I don't think the other one is from Hobby Lobby. I think it's from Kirklands. Sorry. Oh, it was this one I was going to do. This is from Kirklands, yeah. So Kirklands has a few different choices. Is this Kirklands too? These are Kirklands inspired DIYs. Sorry about that.